start winning games is one aspect of it, and of course the ultimate aspect of it. Start performing at a level that the fans can relate to. Because fans will give you a passage of time. If they can relate to the performance, they can see that there's things that are coming together, they can see that the team are performing in a certain way and the application is at the centre of it, then fans will give you a passage of time. Now, I don't think it's been particularly constructive or fair that Nathan Jones has come in for some of the pillorying from a section of the Southampton fans, because I don't think it's particularly constructive. But getting wins against Man City in cup quarterfinals are good. They're stocking fillers. They'll give you a little bit of respite. But he has to get their boots on against Everton. He has to get their boots on, because it's for nothing. They get to a cup final and get relegated. He'll not be forgiven for that. He'll not be in a job.
Yeah.
So it's really important that they play. And of course, when you're playing against sides like Manchester City, they are a very different dynamic than playing against other sides that are fighting, scrapping for their lives, don't have the same capability of players that may well turn it off for individual games. These players are going to be up and at them and making life difficult, whereas Man City will give you an opportunity to play every now and again.
Sure.
And if Man City are 10% off, that's what happens to them.
Do you know what? I mean, it is such a crunch game, Everton against Southampton this coming weekend, in a weekend that brings us the Manchester derby, that brings us the North London derby. Simon, let me ask you this. Dean Henderson, good goalkeeper, we're all agreed on that. He saved 2 penalties against Wolves in the shootout last night. Now ineligible for the semi-final against Manchester United, unless his parent club give him written permission. There's surely got to be a change in the loan rules here for players coming up against their parent club. It seems ridiculous.
Well, it's a difficult one because it goes to the heart of sporting integrity at times. Because ultimately you can find yourself in a slightly conflicted position if your parent club has you playing against them, and it might bring people into the position where they find themselves challenged about how well they should perform against the side that is ultimately their ultimate employer.
But he's a consummate pro. He'll do his job, I'm sure.
But you take away...
If you're loaned out, you've got to play against whoever you're loaned out to play against.
A chain is as strong as its weakest link, right? So you take away the weakest link, which is the question in people's minds. Imagine if Dean Henderson had a stinker, right, playing against his parent club. The argument would be, we in the media would be going, that don't smell right.
You just say we in the media?
Yeah, okay, well, I'll associate myself with the
You're
time.
welcome.
Right. It's not being in the media, it's what you say whilst you're in it.
Oh,
but the point is this, is that I do concur with the view that there is an element of, well, if you're going to loan somebody, you loan them. But I do also understand the flip side of the argument, which is, for the 2 games you might play against them in the season, domestically, and for cup competitions, which are knockouts, I get the reasons why it's there. If the football world really wants to change it, it's not really difficult, is it?
No.
They'll go together in a Premier League meeting and say loans between Premier League football clubs, because obviously they see that the merits of loan of players being... No one wants to give... If you want to loan a player out, you're helping somebody out. You're not selling them, you're helping them out. Right? You're doing a player a favour, you're doing a club that wants to loan him out. You really don't want to give that club any more an advantage than that. And least of all, do you want to see a player that you've loaned out coming back and doing to you which you'd prefer him not to.
Yeah, he should be playing, shouldn't he? The bottom line is he should be playing.
Well, you think so, and I can see both sides of the argument. I can see that if you've let him go out on loan, then you've let him go out on loan. But again, I can also see the other side of the argument, which is the sporting integrity argument that people can suggest that maybe you need to be careful of that area.
Yeah.
And secondly, who wants to loan a player out when you're doing somebody else a favour and find that player comes back and punishes you for that? And the fans go, what'd you loan him out for? So I do get it.
Okay, I emphasise the fact, and it's true, it's an immense, a seismic weekend coming up. The Manchester derby, North London derby. Arsenal have got to go to Tottenham. And, of course, Everton, who desperately need a win against Southampton, who got one in the Carabao Cup last night against Manchester City.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.